Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Becoming the 1% podcast. My guest today is Cody Sperber, the clever investor, an incredible mind in the world of real estate. You are not going to want to miss this. Enjoy.
It's actually a good thing. And we could talk about it. Yeah, fuck yeah.
By all means, man.
Yeah,
I heard you talked about it on stage is where you broke that news, that particular piece of information. Is that right?
Probably one of the first times, maybe not the first, but yes.
How was that? I oftentimes battle with myself over whether or not to air the personal shit in my life on a public platform, or whether to just keep it to myself.
I don't give a fuck about anything but impact.
Okay.
There's a lot of men suffering in silence right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And
especially men.
What contribution to impact in what way did you present?
I mean, just think about this. Like, every single day I put out content, lots of content. I spend crazy amount of money on content creation, not knowing who it's going to impact, not knowing what it's going to do. It just kind of lives out in the universe, right? And since I started in real estate, all of my content's been around wealth creation, right? And that's cool, and that's a major pillar that we need to dominate at.
As men, as a collective society,
it's your obligation to be successful. It's your obligation to be a great provider. Not necessarily just men. Some of my most successful students are women. In fact, majority of my most successful students are women.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you pair skills and capabilities with the ability to flip between bitch and non-bitch, right? Like if you know how to play that fine line between like aggressive and like I'm confident, and I can also be really fucking tough at the same time, and you pair all of that with emotional intelligence, you win the game.
Because being tough comes with the risk of appearing prickly and not attractive to other people in your industry or other people who may or may not want to work with you.
Think about what do we do as investors, as entrepreneurs, as real estate investors? All we do all day long is build rapport with people, try to build connection and create that relationship so that way we can see if there's a deal there. The technical side of real estate is very easy. It's like step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3.
Anybody can fill out a contract.
Yeah, you can teach anybody how to technically do it. Where they fail is on the influence and persuasion side. Interesting. And so once I really got good at influence and persuasion, I realized how much emotional intelligence is involved in that, and it's built into women, and men have to learn it.
Oh, okay.
And so there's just once women get it and they realize, wow, I'm actually built for this shit.
Yeah.
If I could just lean in on the skills, really become an expert at it, so much so that I can flip between like sweet and tough as fuck.
Sure.
But read the room in a way that most people can't. And also, women are just naturally tougher than men. And men are such pussies.
We talked about the ice bath out there. The percentage of men versus women that go in that and make it all 10 minutes, I would say maybe 2 out of 10 men will be able to do it. And I would say at least half of the women that get in there the very first time can sit their ass in that thing for 10 minutes and they're fine.
Yeah.
So women, I think men are physically stronger. Women are mentally tougher.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
what is your, now you've been.
Are we podcasting right now?
Yeah, we're rolling. We're going. This is what it feels like.
Yeah.
When you first got started in real estate, what kind of specialty do you operate under? I mean, you obviously invest in, I'm sure, several different facets of real estate, but is there one, I mean, is it wholesale? Is it fix and flip? Is it new builds? What do you do?
When I started or now?
How about all of it? Give me the whole picture.
So let me start now, because I wouldn't consider myself a wholesaler or any particular niche. I'm a real estate expert. I try to make money from every lead that I generate. I'm constantly increasing and pushing the boundaries on my skills so that way I can build wealth as fast as possible, right? And so markets change, strategies change over time. There's cycles, there's different things that happen in the environment that you have to be very nimble in this business if you want to win. And so now, if you looked around my world, I got a big personal brand. Lots of lead gen is happening because I spent over a decade building a personal brand. I was the first real estate influencer on Instagram to gain over 1 million followers. So I came out of the gate swinging in 2011, 12, 13, 14, and I scaled very quickly because I saw the power of the marketing platform. I did it on Facebook, LinkedIn, and then
I remember.
IG.
Funny story. I actually saw you once. I went to one of your seminars. Like I said briefly, and I didn't get into it in there, but I had a very brief 3-year period where I was doing fix and flips and wholesales. And so the guy I was with at the time, he took us and we saw one of your speaking engagements.
Yeah, it's been a cool journey. Now I own a development company called Green Elephant Development. We have about 23 houses going up right now. These are all between $2 to $3.5 million spec builds, mainly in the 85018 zip code, which is like the Arcadia, Biltmore Heights. Like these are nicer, modern farmhouse type houses.
Sick.
400 to 800,000-900,000 in profit per deal. Can quickly flip with the market that we're in right now.
Of course,
no profit per deal. But we're great builders. Build really high quality product. People love our product because we're a for-purpose business. So the reason we're called Green Elephant Development is a portion of all of our proceeds from all of our spec builds goes towards elephant conservation. So it's built into the
literal
model.
Elephants.
Yeah, literal elephants.
Gotcha. What got you passionate about that?
I mean, my friend Cole taught me years ago about this concept of building for-purpose businesses. It's kind of like Tom's shoes, right? It's like buy a pair, we'll give a pair away. It's built into the model. I'm already charitable on my own. I don't really talk about a lot of the stuff that I do on, when I'm donating money or I'm donating time.
Sure.
But I love to talk about it when it's built into my businesses, because now I can make an embarrassing amount of money and feel great about it because I'm making an impact, and I saw a clip years ago with, is it Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter?
Freaking miss that guy.
Isn't he the
every
best?
single day?
He's the best.
It's my favorite thing to watch on YouTube. Still, I'll go back and watch this stuff.
Clip just hit me so hard because he was talking about money and he was like, I love money.
Buying land.
I want all the money. I want your money and
I want to buy land.
Yes, I want to buy land.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling of like, God, I'm thinking about money all wrong and business all wrong. Like I should just try to build this into the business model. And then my friend Cole was he runs an event called Thrive, Make Money Matter. And now I'm a partner in Thrive, and we've thrown the last few Thrive events in. So when we started this company with my two best friends, I said, hey, I've done wholesaling, I've done rehabbing, I've done building, I've done everything under the sun, apartments, rentals, Airbnbs. I really want to do it different this time. I want to build a charitable component right into the business. And so we did. We also build with green building materials. So that's how we came up with Green Elephant.
Green Elephant.
Yeah.
Got it. So you're saving the environment and saving the elephants at the same time.
Yeah, we're just, we're being playful with it, and it's fun to donate, and it's fun to see the impact. And here's what's really cool. Every house we build tells a story. So when I deliver a house, we deliver a big binder that shows the evolution of the build, all the pictures of all the stages, the elephant and the charity that we're supporting, the elephant, its name, and the amount of money we donated. So now when they move in and their friends and family are coming over for like, that first
housewarming party, stuff,
they're opening up this binder and showing their friends, hey, look at what we did. Look at how cool this builder is and all that. And I want a Green Elephant house.
Yeah.
And especially if you want to live in that neighborhood, because I got 23 going up, my signs and stuff are everywhere. We dominate the marketing. This is why I don't rehab all over the state. We used to rehab everywhere. I would have 100 rehabs going every year, And
when you say rehab, can you explain that? What does that mean?
Like what you see on TV, buying
distressed and
real
reselling.
estate,
Yes,
fixing them up and selling it. Maybe adding a little square footage or moving some walls around. But it's a lot of work when you do that, especially when you're asking your crews to drive all over a big valley like Phoenix metro area. And so we were just like, look, let's focus on an area, dominate that area, dominate the marketing, tell a story so all the neighbors talk about us, plus they protect our assets. If anybody comes around any of our job sites, all the neighbors call us like in seconds, text us within seconds, because we've met all of them. We bring in the taco trucks. We're like, hey, free food for everybody, because we want to build a relationship with everybody, because you never know, they're going to refer somebody to buy this house. And we pre-sell a lot of property that way.
Yeah.
Just by really owning the market in that particular area. Plus it minimizes our risk. Plus when I'm raising capital, our investors, I could take an investor out and be like, I own that house, that house, that house, and that house. And they can all stand in one spot and see 4 or 5 houses going up, all beautiful with our signage everywhere. And it's easy for them to wrap their head around like, oh, I want to invest with these guys. They got their shit together.
Was Instagram your very first avenue of marketing? And you mentioned that as being the first guy doing. No, What was your? How has that changed? How has marketing shifted?
So look, I realized very early on when blogs first came out that there was power in search engine optimization. Where does everybody go to research for a business or for help? They go to Google. And so I didn't really understand Google at the time. I was sitting at a RIA meeting and there was a bunch of people talking, and I was newer in real estate and they were talking about short sales. And I had never heard of a short sale before. This is before the 2008 crash.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so stupid and out of place and pretending like I knew what everybody was talking about. They're like, oh, where do you close your short sales at? I'm like, same probably place as you guys. Like, where do you do it?
Can you explain a short sale? I don't know what
a short sale is simply you owe more than the house is worth because the market has gone down. You bought at, let's say, 150,000. Now your house is worth 130. If you try to sell because you need to move or you lost your job or you need to relocate or whatever, you'd have to come out of pocket to pay the difference because your house is worth less than what you owe.
Sure.
And the challenge with that in a bear market or a down market, and we're going to see this again, not as nearly as much as in 2008, but we'll see it again.
You think this year?
Oh, yeah, because think about how many people bought or refinanced in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Over 55% of every mortgage ever originated in the United States was originated between 2002 to 2022.
Wow.
Or 2020 to 2022.
2020 in the last 2 years.
In the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And that is a golden opportunity. It's also going to be a challenge for a lot of people because if they put 3% down and the market drops by 20%, because in Phoenix, it's dropped by 25% already.
Wow.
And so if you look at what's happening, rents are starting to go down. It's like a double barrel crash. Rents are slightly going down, but prices are going down. People are dropping prices. The amount of price cuts are increasing. The days on market are increasing. And the market's going backwards because we shot up too hard, too fast. And now that interest rates are at 7-8%, people aren't buying. New properties aren't hitting the market. The only thing that's saving our bacon right now is supply and demand. There's not a lot of supply out there. We're at record low supplies on the MLS. And it's artificially keeping prices okay. But the second everybody puts their property on the MLS, prices are going to really drop.
This sounds a lot like 08, but you say it's
different.
It's not going to be
because we don't have bad mortgages. We're not. There's not a bunch of
the tranches and the.
We're not doing
AAA,
that same thing. Now it's more of a currency crisis. It's going to be a stock market crash. It'll be a currency crash. Real estate's just going to be a victim of the economy crashing.
Got it.
It'll actually probably be a better opportunity than almost anything else out there, in my opinion.
How?
Well. It needs to come down in price, but people's energy and attitude about the real estate starting to shift because think about this. If there's tax benefits to real estate, there's cash flow benefits to real estate, everybody needs a place to live. So it is kind of future proof, but at the same time, if it's going down and people start to see that it's going down, they're going to offload their secondary properties, their one-off Airbnbs, their random rental property that they don't really manage very well.
Yeah.
And we're going to flush out all the wannabes from the market, which needs to happen. Realtors, they're gone. Mortgage guys, they're gone. Bad wholesalers, they're gone. It's like bad Airbnb operators, they're gone. Everybody, it needs to clean out the space because it got overinflated because it was a hot market.
Because everyone's
big
just
opportunity
doing it.
for savvy investors that really have good systems and teams and processes and skills. At the same time, you want to pay attention to these 53% of mortgages that are a 4% mortgage or less. Did you know there's over 33% of every property in the United States is owned free and clear?
No.
Why would I ever go to a bank to borrow money at 8% when I can go to you, a homeowner or a building owner or an apartment owner that owns it free and clear? You're 75 years old. You've been a smart investor your whole career. You paid this asset off. It's cash flowing really well, but you're over it. Your kids don't want to inherit real estate and you're over tenants and toilets. Here comes Cody showing up saying, hey, look, who's the smartest person in every real estate transaction? The bank. Why don't you be my bank? I'll give you 4 or 5% on your money that you carry back for me. I got a team. I got credibility. I got skills. I can take over this house.
And you have the reputation of the brand you've
Even
built.
if I
People
didn't,
know
I'd
you.
partner. Even if I was brand new, I'd go find a Cody, partner up and say, I'll go house hustle. I'll go find these homeowners. I'll build a relationship with them. I'll convince them to do this kind of transaction. Just teach me what paperwork, teach me what I need.
Do you have people doing this for you? Do you have
thousands all over the country? Thousands all over the country.
Really?
Yeah, I'm aggressive.
Okay, so how has that translated to lead generation and turnover?
No,
I mean,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Nowadays, Cody's got a big brand. I got lots of deal flow coming in. I own a development company. I own a wholesale operation. Well, we do about 150,000 a month in wholesale profits.
Wow.
Down from 250. We're down.
Down since when?
June of last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so
June of last year.
$100,000 in 1 year. Per month.
Per month.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about what happened in June of last year. The stock market crashed. Every hedge fund in America stopped buying. You got to understand how hedge funds work, and I don't know how technical you want me to get, but like think about this. I go raise $1 billion. I go put it in JP Morgan. JP Morgan doesn't just sit on that money. They go, hey, I got a great idea. Let's invest this in this portfolio, the safe portfolio, and we'll pay you whatever percent on guaranteed. We'll pay you 8%. We'll pay you 10%. Better than the $1 billion just sitting in a bank account. So it's like, okay, go buy. Now we are invested in this portfolio. And then we'll give you a line of credit against the portfolio at 65 cents on the dollar. Now you can go buy all the real estate you want, right? And that's a 1% line of credit or a 2% line of credit. So they're arbitraging all these interest rates that they're getting with this $1 billion. Then they go buy real estate. And if you understand how inflation works, if inflation goes to 6 to 7 to 8 to 10%.
Where are we at right now?
We're at 6 right now,
6%.
According to people who you probably can't trust.
Got it. Yeah.
Right.
I was about
but
to say.
I mean, whatever.
In your opinion,
it's not adjusted for food, energy.
You know, I mean, think about. I'm Jerome Powell. I got to keep my job, right? Inflation's calculated by a basket of goods. In that basket of goods is heavy real estate, heavy construction. I don't like what this thing calculates at. Let's just take one of those out and substitute it back for something a little bit better that makes my numbers better and keeps my job. Or if I want to keep my job, I got to crush the real estate market because that basket of goods is heavy in construction, heavy in development, heavy in real estate. So once you really technically understand how money works,
is it legal for them to do something like this? I mean, anyone?
Have you ever seen anybody from Wall Street go to jail?
No, actually.
Or a politician?
That was the best part in The Big Short when they said no one went to jail. They made the big joke at the very end. Remember, they're like, yeah, one schmuck got in trouble, and he didn't even go to jail. Like, no one goes to jail.
You know what they do? They get promotions and bonuses.
It's disturbing.
It's
really
fucked up.
is. Yeah,
Can I cuss on this podcast?
Say anything you want.
Look. This. Here's what you got to understand. Money is a game. There are principles, aka rules of the game. You study them, you win. It doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person. It doesn't matter if you have good intentions or bad intentions. If you understand how to play the money game, you can win it. It's not like it's a mystery. And if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, just go to ChatGPT-4, prompt in how to win the money game. It's probably going to tell you nowadays. AI is pretty damn smart.
It is pretty damn
right?
smart.
And so it's like, look, study what the hedge funds do. The closer you get to the source and the creation of money, the better your borrowing terms are. The further away you get, the worse your borrowing terms on. This is called the wealth gap. So just think about, you got very poor people or very rich people over here by Wall Street, and you got very poor people. Poor people get shafted. They get the worst borrowing terms. Banks don't want to lend to them. They get ran over. Wall Street gets 1% money, 0% money. And if you understand how inflation works, if inflation's at, let's just call it 6%, let's say it's really at 6%, but I can buy a piece of real estate that cash flows at 3%. Inflation's at 6, I buy and I borrow money at 3. The dollar that I bought that property with today, as I'm making payments over 10, 15 years, if inflation stays high and my interest rate is lower, over time, my interest rate on that piece of real estate erodes. Because the dollar I'm paying back the loan with is worth less than the dollar I borrowed to buy the property. So over time, my 3% interest rate goes to 2 to 1 to 0 to negative. This is why Wall Street went out since 2008 and bought up 1/5 of every house in America. They were on track to buy up to 1/3. 1 out of every 3 houses is going to be owned by big corporations, funds. They only pumped the brakes because the stock market crashed and their line of credit's dried up for a period of time, but they're starting to peak back in.
Sure.
I sell properties to hedge funds. I know a lot.
I was going to say, what is your interaction with the Wall Street community?
I mean, look, I don't really have an
a
interaction. I sell houses to funds that buy my product. But it's doing a deal with the devil because we're killing the middle class, and the wealth gap's getting worse.
Yeah.
And we're turning our country into a renter nation. You control the property, you control the vote. And this is just the game they're playing. They're going to crash our currency. They're going to force us over into a digital, trackable, one world type currency. We're no longer connected to the petrodollar nearly as tight as we used to.
Social credit system, all that stuff.
All that stuff's coming. You know, we got shitty money that's becoming more and more worthless.
We can just print and print and print.
And they're going to continue because as baby boomers get their retirement accounts evaporated because the stock market crashed, the government's going to step in just like they did with these banks, and they're going to fucking print more money, and they're going to bail people out, and they're going to bail the baby boomers out by printing more money. And it's just this vicious cycle where we can't control. And every single person listening to this, the only thing you could do right now is protect yourself and your family. You can't influence the weather, the gas prices, the politicians. You can.
I like that.
You can right now, though, learn how to play the money game to win. And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do at Clever Investor, is because it's like, look, guys, real estate is future proof. We have to learn how to buy and own cash producing assets. I like real estate because it's physical. I can control it. I can touch it. I can go to it. I can add a bedroom and a bath. I can add more square foot. I can
a lot better than the stock market, obviously, because it's like what Matthew McConaughey said. It's fugazi. It's nothing. It's a fairy dust.
Well, I mean, think about this. If I buy stock, I'm just praying you, as the CEO, don't fuck some kid.
That's a good one. Yeah,
I'm just hoping.
Yeah,
you don't fuck up this money game, right? But it's hope, and hope's not a strategy.
Right.
I'm not saying that there aren't great companies with great people running them that do good in this world that I would own their stock. Of course I would.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't bet my future on just that. Look, billionaires are buying up farmland. Why? So they stay billionaires for the next 10 generations. Control the food, you control your wealth. You control the housing, you control the vote. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just studying what the fuck is going on and going, okay, I can't control any of this. I just need to make more money faster. I need to keep more of the money that I'm making because I keep paying it all out in taxes. So I got to get into a vehicle, an investment vehicle that is tax friendly.
I love the way that you are presenting your information to the individual to focus on their family, themselves, and what they are doing. Speaking, because you've mentioned wholesalers, you've mentioned stock market, all of this stuff in the last 5 minutes. Where does the concept of ethics play in for a real estate investor? Because like you said, I mean, look, I need to take care of my family, and part of that is maybe I need to sell this house to a big bank or to a hedge fund or whatever it is. I got to sell it. Is that killing the middle class? Maybe, maybe not, but I got to do what I got to do. What in your experience because real estate in general, like many, many, many industries out there are people who say, real estate agents are scummy, real estate agents suck. There are people out there that ruin the industry for the rest of us. What impact do you teach on ethics? Where do you see the principle of ethics existing in your industry, and how do you encourage it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, I think you can make an embarrassing amount of money and still be a good human being while doing it. So rich people aren't greedy. They're very generous. All of my friends are very generous and infinitely more generous than any broke person I know.
You're right. Exactly.
So it's like that's the things that we are taught about money and wealth don't necessarily correlate to what is actually happening.
I think it's more how you earn your money than having money.
Well,
I'm not even a person that often even faults people for how they earn their money. But the general consensus, I think, in the court of public opinions is we hate rich people because we feel they got there through some illegitimate means that I don't know.
Yeah, that's a myth, though.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not an entrepreneurial supremacist. I don't give a fuck how you make your money. You can be the #1 chick on OnlyFans, right? I don't care. Look, you got to do what you got to do. A lot of people, I'm not God. I'm not here to judge, right? My way of making money is not better than your way of making money. However, how you roll through life, how you treat other people along the way, how you set standards and show leadership, how you treat your family, how you treat your partnerships is infinitely more important to me than the amount of money you have or how fast you make it or, what you do for a career.
Yeah.
So
in your
specific, I just want to answer your question real quick, because ethically, we teach leadership traits. We build a culture at Clever Investor on what it means to be a superb human being. Health, wealth, spirituality, connection, unconditional love for yourself, so that way you can give it to other people. These things are more long-term conversations that are woven into tactical strategies to go out there and build wealth through real estate investing. I'm just exposing my community to the way I think about life. But it's not my job to force them to do what I do. I have my own personal core values. I have them written down. I share them with everybody. I make decisions based on my core values, right? Hopefully, as people get exposed to a next level way of thinking and they're around successful people and people that are building wealth and people that are making impact and serving really strong, they write up their own core values, because a lot of people don't take the time to do that stuff. Then they start acting different. They start reading different things. They start listening to different podcasts. They stop listening to negative news. They stop listening to their shitty friends. They fire their lame bozo people in their life that are negatively impacting them. They stop doing drugs. They start working out aggressively. I came into this place and I was like in awe. It's such a cool facility with so much culture. Just, it's on the walls. It oozes from the second you walk in. You're like looking around. You're like, wow, this is fucking different.
Thanks,
and it feels good to be in a place where it's original and it's fun and it's upbeat and it's, you're obviously in the fitness space. I'll give all my money away right now, and I got a lot of it, for health. My mom passed away last year from cancer. I'd give it all for her to be healthy and alive again.
Wow.
I mean, think everybody would.
Yeah.
How many people have a Rolex on, but they're at the pool and they're fat and they got their man titties flopping out and they're wearing a t-shirt and they're scared to take their shirt off? And it's like, yeah, you're killing the money game.
A lot of them.
But health game is fucking, it's a disaster.
Right.
And that's because 1 in 10 Americans are millionaires. But 1 in 25,000 Americans have a six-pack.
Yeah, you were the one who sent me that article saying that in the next year, in 2023, that 50% of Americans are going to be classified as obese. Right now,
not Americans. Worldwide. 4 billion people worldwide will be.
Is that what it is?
Obese.
It's worldwide? It's 43% right now.
12 or 13 years.
Is that what it said? Okay.
Yes.
That's disturbing beyond anything I can even say out loud. When you mentioned at the beginning that, money was one pillar of your coaching on a lifestyle, is health another one?
Oh, 100%.
Physical
for the
and
first
mental
time
health.
in my life, I have a 6.5 pack.
There you go.
Working on
Awesome.
the 8.
Congrats.
Good for you, man.
Not everybody has the muscles for an 8-pack. I had hernia surgery. So that bottom section, I need your help, man. I need that bottom section. I'm doing a lot of flutter kicks, and a lot of what's that thing with the ball where you lift your legs up? What do you call that?
Leg lifts.
Leg lifts.
Crunches, all sorts
Pike.
of different stuff. Pikes,
I'm
Pikes.
doing lots of pikes, man, and nothing's happening down there. So I'm hoping.
The whole get a six-pack thing, because you're right. There's a genetic factor
Big
to it.
genetic
There's
factor,
a time factor to it. I mean,
Tell yourself that, Jake.
We don't lose fat from our body in specific areas unless we go get liposuction. So as people generally drop, and men especially, that's sort of the last area to go. So if you've been consistently staying on a program for, let's call it 8-9 weeks, and you're like, oh man, you know what? I'm just going to go today. I'm going to just go cheat. Well, you're probably just getting to that point where now I'm going to lose that area of body fat, or it's going to come down even marginally. But most people never reach that because it just takes so much time. And then, of course, like you said, there's a whole musculature, aesthetic piece to it, where if I have a client, she had a C-section and they had to go up her abdominal wall.
Yeah.
So she can't have,
It's hard.
I can't have abs. I can't get, they literally had to slice them open.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. There's a lot of factors to that specific, I don't even call it a part of health. It's just people want the aesthetic of it all.
Well, who doesn't want to be that rare person that's ripped, rich, and rare? That's part of the club that has millions of dollars and a six-pack. Now, I'm not saying the six-pack's the goal. Health's the goal. But that journey to get there, the dedication, the sacrifice, the consistency, all the things that you need to be a great entrepreneur, to be great in health, to be great as a father, to be great in your spiritual game, putting in those reps is what's important. And so I want to always strive to set a standard for the people watching me, most specifically my kids.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one of those guys that I'm acutely aware that they're watching and not saying anything. And for years, I was killing the money game, but not killing the health game. And I definitely was not killing the spiritual game. And I wasn't killing the marriage game. And that's why my marriage ended. And I wasn't killing the dad game because I was focused on business.
So you had one pillar trying to hold up the whole house.
Yeah. And how many men are conditioned to be great providers from the time they're little, and that's where they hide. They hide in achievement. All their shame, all their guilt, all their pressure from being a little kid, the environment they grew up in, you see it. You see them overeating, addicted to alcohol and drugs, addicted to gambling, addicted to porn, addicted to overachievement and working crazy fucking hours. Because that's all they can control.
Yeah.
Everything else is out of control. Their family life spiraling out of control. Their health spiraling out of control. Their spiritual doesn't exist. And we're suffering in silence.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that 100%.
But how do you get out of that? It's simple. You get exposed to people that are playing the game at a different level. And through exposure, you face your fucking truth. And you look in a mirror. Like, I could lie to you. I could lie to my significant other. I could lie to friends. I could lie to every stranger on social media. But I can't look in the mirror and lie to myself.
Yep.
Like, I know the fucking pain. I know the truth. I know where my trauma is coming from. And subconsciously, I wonder, why the fuck did I just explode on the freeway and become a fucking psychopath, racist piece of shit, screaming at myself in the car, right? Because somebody cut me off. And you're like, what just happened? And that's a subconscious reaction from shit you've been carrying around your whole life. That pain. A poor waitress brings me the wrong meal and I light her up in front of my friends. She's making minimum wage, and now I'm the bad guy because I can't control myself. My son doesn't listen to me, and now I'm being mean to a little kid. This is what I mean by men suffering in silence. And the only way out is through extreme ownership and really getting exposed to next level thinking. And then taking that extreme ownership and going and putting in the real fucking work that we avoid our whole lives. Right? And this happened to me last year. This is the only reason I'm talking about it right now. And when you really hit rock bottom, and I'm not talking about like your business is not doing good or your relationship sucks at the moment. I'm talking about real fucking rock bottom. Like the place you go where you realize rock bottom has a basement.
Yep. Where you think there's not a possible way that I could get
like you can't fucking breathe.
Yeah.
Everything is just awful.
Yeah.
The moment where people make decisions to either kill themselves or not. When you get there, you start to face the fucking truth. And people normally, at least guys like me, like you can slap me, nothing happens. You can knock me down, nothing happens. I get ran the fuck over, all of a sudden I'm like, what just happened? I'm ready to make change. And when you get really at your lowest and you finally make the call to go put in the work, you realize that I can't be a great dad. I can't be a great spouse. I can't be a great leader in my businesses. I can't be a great friend or partner, and I can't have a great relationship with God because I can't give what I don't have for myself. And until men realize that you want to be powerful, it has nothing to do with your money. It has to do with your energy. And until you unconditionally love yourself, which only happens through putting an insane amount of personal development and work on healing the trauma.
And admitting that there is trauma.
Yes.
That for me was a major turning point. I mean, I've dealt with some of the things that you're saying to me right now. And for me, oftentimes it was just hard to admit that the problem even existed or to find out where it came from. that's the other thing is if you've got trauma can date back years in your life and not even know where it came from. It's like, oh, I've got these behaviors where maybe I've got 2 or 3 things in my life that are really going well, and I just kind of focus on those. But then there's these other 2 things that, hey, you said I'm addicted to porn. I can't stop gambling. I can't stop eating. But that's just my thing. Maybe I'm just doing that because I'm addicted to food or I'm addicted to sex. Usually there's an underlying reason why that's happening. Finding out what that is. And oftentimes, like you said, personal development, therapy, seeing a professional, getting around people who are succeeding in those areas. I had a real problem getting around mentors who I, didn't necessarily think were doing really well in business. And I would oftentimes judge them for that. I'd be like, okay, I mean, yeah, you're a spiritual leader in this, and that, and that's great. But at the same time, I don't know that I really want to spend time around you. I mean, you have not done these other things that I personally value. That's wrong. And that's a big disservice to yourself to view people inside of those small landscapes. I mean, it's taken me a long time to really learn about myself that I had past trauma that was making me think and perceive human beings in this way years after the trauma was done with. And human beings are funny. We carry that in our minds. We carry it on our bodies. We physically carry trauma that has to be oftentimes released through all kinds of weird things. I've done meditation, with a therapist. I've done all kinds of stuff to really dig into those past childhood or even young adulthood traumas that can really change you and not even know that it's happening.
And trauma gets you stuck in certain places of your life too, where, you don't really develop beyond that place. Like if you've had a lot of people that have had trauma in the past, they're stuck in like their 13-year-old self or their 15-year-old self or their 20-year-old
when
self.
the trauma happened to you.
Yeah.
You nailed it. And here's the thing that I realized. If you would have asked me, did you have a good childhood? I would have said, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. Yeah.
Because we become great at compartmentalizing and burying the pain. Mm-hmm. And that's how we survive. That's why a lot of entrepreneurs are great entrepreneurs. We get good under pressure because we can compartmentalize and bury like the pros.
Yeah.
And I jokingly say, like, I would have been a great serial killer because I can literally turn off empathy in a second in survival mode. People that come back from doing really horrible things in the military, if they go to war or something like that, and now they're carrying around PTSD. All the things that you're saying, Brandon, like the gambling and the addictions and all that stuff, that's just the output, right? The input is the pain. And what I realized is until you go deep and you go get professional help, and it could be breath work, it can be EMDR therapy, it could be horse therapy, animal therapy, it can be acting therapy, it could be group therapy, it could be one-on-one therapy, it could be all the therapies.
Yeah. Because
it is a journey. Right? How do you, if I was to ask you, like, how do you unconditionally love yourself? You'd rattle off something and you might be partly right, might not be right at all. It might work for you. It might not work for me. But as you start going down this journey where you're like, God, why do I feel like I'm carrying around 10,000 pounds of shit?
Mm-hmm. Big anchor right behind you.
Big anchor. And it's like, so what I did, and this works for me because I'm an all-in type of guy, is when my mom died and I'm going through this, my marriage is ending, and I'm having to tell my kids that we're going through a divorce, and I just made the decision. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get help. Mm-hmm. And so I checked myself into a week-long intensive men's retreat in Scottsdale at a place called Psychological Counseling Services. Paid them 10 G's. Did not know what I was walking into. Mm-hmm. They didn't even have room for me, but I was in such a desperate place for help. Yeah. Like I was about to go, I don't even drink very much. I was about to go to AA. Like I was desperately looking for something. Yeah. Some community to get plugged into. Yeah. And when I went to this thing, they said, sorry, we're full for months. Like it's a very in-demand place. Some of the best addiction specialists in the world. And I got off the phone and I'm like, I can't wait months. So I got in the car. I went down there. I greased the front desk lady. I said, you call whoever is on your roster for next week and you tell them something fucking bad happened and you're going to have to push them by a couple weeks and you put me in, coach. Mm-hmm. And I'll pay whatever fucking money necessary because I had to get help. And it was the greatest thing I ever did. I shut off social. I told my business partners and all my team members, hey, I need help. I need you to step up while I'm gone. I shut the whole world off. And for 14 hours a day, for 7 days in a row, I went deep. And I had open heart surgery on my inner child. And I came out of that 10,000 pounds lighter. I've been doing counseling ever since, just, continuing to just process, and lots of breathwork therapy. If you've never done somatic release breathwork, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
My soon-to-be ex-wife, Shannon Sperber, is one of the best in the world at it. Phenomenal somatic release breathwork expert.
She teaches it.
She does it.
Got it.
She doesn't teach it. She does it. She does it for groups. She does it for entrepreneurs. She specializes in entrepreneurs. If you go to shannonsperber.com, I think her stuff's up there. But somatic release breathwork is really designed to unblock your subconscious programming and reprogram it using neurolinguistic programming, NLP, while you're going through a breathwork experience. So, whenever you breathe in and out for an hour through your mouth, you're like kind of hyperventilating. What you're doing is you're hyperoxygenating your blood, which puts you in a trance-like state. It's almost like doing drugs, but it's natural.
It's right before what I do before I go on the ice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how you're able to make it 10 minutes.
That's part of it.
I know your secret now.
Yep.
Yeah, so you could see, connecting humans back to themselves one deep breath at a time. I mean, she really is a fantastic human being.
Very cool.
And one of the best
Very
at
cool.
it. But I'm doing all this work, and I realized why I was never able to get to the next. I didn't even know what that meant. Like, I want to get to the next level. You mentioned this earlier. It's like, you can't get to the next level when you're in your own way.
You're stuck at.
You don't know why the doors aren't opening. You don't know why the opportunities aren't there. You don't know why you're stuck. I never cared much about. I wanted to get to the next level, but I never really cared that much about making more money or any of that stuff. I just wanted to be happier.
Sure.
I just want to feel better about myself. It's like my mom died. It's like you really reflect on life and happiness, and like, fuck, I don't care about money. I want to be healthy. I want to make an impact. I want to be a great friend. I don't want to be a piece of shit human being. I don't listen to news. I cut off all that stuff because I don't want that negative stuff in my life. I want to walk into a room, and instead of the environment changing me, I want to change the environment. Like, I want to be the weather maker.
Yeah.
And that's only can happen when you really truly love yourself. And you're so confident in who you are. I don't care if I piss people off by the conversations I'm having. I love money. I love impact. I love leadership. I love people that want more out of life.
Yeah.
And if you want to go fuck off and be a degenerate, cool, but not for me. You're fired. I don't want you in my DMs. I don't want you in my chats. I don't want you in my comment section. I just block people that I don't like because I don't want that in my life.
A large part of the group that follows you is inevitably going to be men. And watching your recent journey and everything you've exposed, I mean, I know you've talked about on your platform all of this stuff, and you've talked about the psychoanalytics and the therapy. Do you find that men have maybe a bit of adverse reaction to the concept of going to therapy, or the concept of just getting like self-help, especially mental self-help? Has that ever, have you noticed that at all?
No, I've noticed the opposite. I think, like I said, there's a lot of men suffering in silence, and they're one bad decision away from divorce. They're one bad decision away from breaking up their partnership with their good friends. They're one bad decision away, but it's not too late for them. And I think when they see somebody with a platform as big as mine, or as loud as I'm being about it, they go, oh, this is why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm not alone. And I'm willing to go. I'm willing to listen just enough to maybe plant a seed to slowly start germinating in their mind. So that way at some point when they really get ready for real change, they go DM me back. Hey man, what was the name of that place that you went to? Yeah. And I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of DMs from men just telling me these stories, and I can relate to all of them because I was there, and it's like, hey, because that you shared this, I'm going to start doing this. And it makes me feel so good, because I don't care if I get millions of, like, some of my posts go viral, right? And I get 6, 7, 8 million views on a post.
Seen them. Good job, by the way.
You never know what's going to go, right? Sometimes it's the weirdest conversations, but I don't care about any of that. If I go live and there's 10,000 people or 60 people, I'm talking to 5. Right. I'm talking to those 5 men that are right there on the edge about to make the fucking wrong call. And that's what's important to me. Yeah. because I know I was in that place, and if I would have had somebody better around me, maybe my marriage would still be around. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Maybe I would have been a better partner.
Yeah. You've mentioned spirituality several times in this conversation as being one of the core principles that men need to strive for. And I think it's important because oftentimes people, I think, mistake therapy for spirituality, and they are different in my opinion. You can see a physical therapist or a mental therapist or whatever. That's not necessarily impacting your relationship with God. In fact, I would even go a step further and say it's probably best to seek out a professional who is not going to try to steer you to church. He's there to dig up your trauma, deal with your childhood, and help you move past that. Where does God fit into this whole conversation for you? What does that mean? Improve your spirituality.
Yeah. So in therapy, one of the things they teach is intimacy circles. And, intimacy was always really hard for me because I have low empathy and I have narcissistic tendencies. So it's like, the whole, like, a lot of people roll through life like tit for tat or really aggressive with reciprocity. I'll invite you to my birthday party only if you invite me to yours. I'll be nice to you if you hook me up with some deal flow. I'm not transactional in that way. I play the long game. Yeah. So I've always been able to, it's like I have narcissistic tendencies, but I'm smart enough to see the bigger picture. So I always walk this fine line between all of this. But intimacy circles are really important because think about like a dartboard. You have your bullseye and then you have your next ring and your next ring and your next ring and your next. Who is in the bullseye? Right? It's you, right? Yeah. You need to be in love with yourself, right? But who also is in the bullseye? Your creator. And if it's only you, then God doesn't exist in your life, which means that what does that mean?
You are the most important person.
You're the okay.
You are your own God.
Okay, so that's ego.
Yeah.
Right? You're the ultimate narcissist egomaniac. If nothing else exists and you're that's not going to get you very far. And so it's like, for me, you know what I put in my first circle? Not me. I put my business. I was somewhere off to the fucking sidelines. I put everybody else's needs first and specifically business first. At my own detriment, didn't matter. My own health didn't matter. I would rather dominate and be successful than anything else. Achievement over everything. In fact, when I first met Shannon, I sat her down and I said, listen, don't get in the way of me becoming a billionaire or our journey ends that day. You will always be second place in my life.
And she was understanding of this at the time?
We're 23, 24 years old. She looked at me like, what the fuck are you trying to tell me here? But she also was betting on me to be real successful. And we also had a great friendship, but I was dead serious.
Yeah.
It was a fucked up thing for me to say and stupid. Such a stupid bonehead move. But you're 23 and I'm ambitious.
You're not a billionaire at 23. It's important.
Shit, I'm not a billionaire yet. So don't get my fucking way.
Closer than you were at 23.
Yeah, way closer. But look, it's one of those things where it's like you and God, whatever that is to you. I'm not saying organized religion. I'm saying a relationship with your creator. Believe in something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be in the most painful, rock bottom place, evil place, deal with evil people and not believe that there's a counterpart to the evil. If there's evil, if there's the devil, there's God, right? And so it's like, okay, what does this mean to me? Well, I don't have a relationship with God. My grandparents were Pentecostal. My mom was super hardcore religious. All my uncles were fucking drug addicts. One died in prison for being a pedophile. The other one died from liver cancer for being an alcoholic. And the other one is still alive, and he's a professional scam artist that runs over old ladies and lives off of old ladies and just scams the shit out. I mean, they're all from the Appalachian Mountains. None of them graduated high school. They all went to Vietnam, got heavily addicted to heroin. Like our family is fucking nuts and very poor.
Sure.
And so I grew up in this environment where my grandparents are speaking in tongues to me, pinning me in a corner. My grandpa, who was this little German guy, recovering alcoholic, heavily Pentecostal, rolls his eyes back in his head, speaks in tongues, flops on the ground, acts like a fucking psychopath,
Yeah,
and then pops up like he's possessed by the devil, grabs me as a 10-year-old by my shoulder, shakes me, screaming at the top of his lungs, "You will lead a big flock someday." And I'm crying, and I'm alone, and I can't fucking get out of this guy's arms.
This had to impact.
Who the fuck wants to do religion after that?
No,
I'm out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how
Check
did
out. I'm checked out. Fuck that shit. I'm
No.
done. And that's because that was his version of dealing with his pain. He hid in religion instead of really going deep and like taking care. And he took it out on me, not knowing how it was going to impact me.
Mm-hmm.
And you look around organized religion, and I don't want to get too much on a rant on this because everybody's got to believe in whatever they believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not cool with Catholic priests fucking kids. I'm not cool with the Mormon church having a billion-dollar private secret hedge fund.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not cool with whatever the organized religion bullshit is.
Mm-hmm.
However, I've lived my whole life. My dad's an atheist. I've lived my whole life not wanting to create a relationship because I was scared.
Not wanting to create a relationship with
God,
your creator.
with my creator.
Yes.
Because I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't make sense to me.
Because of the different translations.
And I'm good
that
at
people
business.
take.
And I'm like, why are churches living tax-free? Why are they able to do whatever they want? It's a business. It's a money-making. Like, I hated the concept.
Got it. Yeah. You're not alone. That's
But
very common.
and now here I am, rock bottom. Shannon didn't know this at the time. I wanted to get a divorce. I wanted out.
Mm.
And I would go to the gym, a.k.a. church, and I would sit in the back. And I would just sit there and cry. And I would pray and I would cry, and I was alone and I didn't want to be seen. I was just hiding in the fucking back. And I did this for months and months and months. And I just made a decision one day that if I'm going to put God in that intimacy circle, then the next circle needs to be your significant other. Then the next circle is your kids. And then the next circle is your extended family. And the next circle is your best friends. And the next circle is your friends. And then the next circle is your teammates at your work. And then everybody else. It just goes out, right?
Business keeps getting further out.
Further
from
out.
The center.
You can't, if you mix them up,
yeah.
The intimacy is broken and the relationship is some relationship's gonna suffer.
Yeah, inevitably.
And so if I'm gonna put God first, like business, like health, I need to start building that muscle. It starts with just one-way prayers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I never heard anything back, but I'm gonna build them. I'm gonna pray. Okay.
We had on Costi Hen as a guest a little while back. Is an incredible man. Comes from a ridiculous background of religion. His father was Benny Hinn, the prosperity. His uncle was
wow.
Benny Hinn. You know, the white guy. Mm-hmm. And now he got away from his family, started a non-denominational church here. Totally different than but he grew up with the Rolls Royce, with the massive
G7,
the G7, the huge, and his biggest thing, because I asked him that question straight up. I'm like, okay, look, I mean, you're a pastor. This is your thing. We have a lot of people who listen. This is not their thing. Maybe they're trying to make spirituality a part of their inner circle. Maybe not. How would someone even start that journey if they even have the desire to? He said what you just said. He's like, pray. It's like the very first thing, teach us to
start
pray.
talking.
Start talking to God.
I did that for a year and nothing. I still don't hear anything back, by the way. I'm now 2 years in.
It's in different ways. I mean, the old adage, God works in mysterious ways. He does not literally speak to us. At least you hope you don't hear a voice. And but it becomes evident, I think, in the way that our life goes, in the way
he moves the
in
pieces
very
around
different
the chessboard,
ways.
for sure.
You get that.
And I believe I'm growing my faith for sure. I'm growing my faith, and it's a journey, right? It's just like going to the gym every day. It's like I'm building that muscle. And now I'm starting to read the Bible more, and I'm just starting to. I'm now cutting a check to be part of mastermind, because like in business, I hire consultants all the time. I use money as a tool to go further faster. I use money as a tool to buy relationships, get myself in the right room. And I do this all. I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on masterminds, going to live events, hiring coaches and mentors, consultants, all of that. If I want to dominate in email, I'm hiring the best in the world at email. If I want to be great spiritually, I hire Erwin McManus, join his mastermind, one of the best pastors and communicators in the game. And I just get proximity to other high-level men that are believers. I don't know what I'm doing there, other than I'm putting myself in the environment so I can get exposure to it.
Sure.
And I'm going to just trust and have faith in the process that good things will come out of it.
Have you gotten plugged in at all to a local church?
Oh, God, yeah.
Where do you go?
Yeah, I go to Impact.
Oh, cool.
I go to Impact. I go to, there's a, what is it?
That's where Courtney said she goes. is Impact. Yeah,
There's another one in like by Queen Creek that I've been going to. Rock
Point.
Rock Point.
That's where I go.
Yeah, Rock Point.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I like
you live in Queen Creek? Or where do you at?
I built a house in Queen Creek.
Oh, okay.
The wife and kids live in it.
Got it.
It's a big boy house.
Yeah. Oh,
It's a nice.
I can imagine it is.
It's a nice one. I live in an apartment, bro.
Got it.
I have 50 Airbnbs, 600 apartment doors, tons of rental property. My wife lives in a $5 million house with our kids. I live in an apartment. Because when I left, and we were, the divorce isn't final yet, but when I left, I needed a moment to get out of luxury prison.
That's powerful.
I grew up in Mesa in a heavily Hispanic neighborhood. Me and my friend Brian were the two white kids. Lots of little Mexican gangs. I was a little hustler. I sold candy, sold drugs, got jobs at the local Italian restaurant when I was 13 years old, washing dishes. Like I was always like just a little hustler. Hated school, hated college. I think I lasted an hour in college before I quit. Like that's how, I literally enrolled, walked on campus, went to biology class, sat there for about 45 minutes, got up, got in my car and never went back.
Yeah.
Until after and then I went and joined the military. This kid, this bully, he was running this little Mexican gang. His name was Derek. He got killed in front of us by this guy, Matt, who stole his grandpa's gun because Derek was the neighborhood bully. And he picked on me and he picked on Matt. And Matt took a gun and blew his fucking head off.
Holy shit.
And that's the environment I was around, and I was okay. I never knew we didn't have money. My grandparents lived in one bedroom. Sometimes I had a bedroom. Sometimes I slept on the couch. I was cool with all of it. I didn't know we didn't have money. If you would have asked me, did you have a good childhood? Yeah. Mom was a bisexual. Dad and mom broke up 4 times. I moved to 10 states before I'm 6th grade. Yeah. Like no safety, no stability, all over the fucking place. Never would have known any different. And as an adult, this is all the stuff we carry around with us and wonder why we're disasters.
Yeah.
But I needed to unplug from this country club world that I found myself in. And I needed to reconnect with just my roots and just who I am and remind myself like, hey, what really matters? It's not my house. Yeah. Right. I want my kids to live a great lifestyle, but I don't want to raise entitled little fuckheads. Right. And so it's like there's a balance between them living in a mansion and daddy having Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis and all the other cool cars I've had. And really seeing me now going through this transition, setting a better standard. I sold all my cars. I drive a Tesla, and
how old are your kids?
13 and 14.
So they're definitely old enough to get exactly what's going on. Has that?
Oh yeah. No, they're smart and they're good kids. And my relationship with them is better than it's ever been the last year.
Gotcha.
I've gone so deep with them. Like I know their friends' names. I know what they're into. I know their biggest fears. They're at that age now where, especially my daughter, who's gorgeous, looks just like her mom. It's a prime time in her life with influence, boys, alcohol. And I want her to feel so comfortable and confident in mine and her relationship that she can give me the truth. Yeah. And not feel like there's a consequence other than I'm going to be there to save your ass. I'll be there to listen. I'll be there to come scoop you up. And that's what my mission is right now at this period and as being a dad. And I'm a better dad because I'm present. I put them in the right intimacy circle.
And was this part of your journey away from luxury prison? I mean, did this happen as a consequence of that? You getting...
No, therapy is what's doing it. But I like simplicity of being in an apartment. I mean, dude, I have 23 $3 million houses going up right now. I can move into any one of them.
Sure.
It's not like I'm going to live like a bum forever. I just... I'm not saying if you live in an apartment, you're a bum. It's not like, that didn't come out right. But it's not like I'm going to, I work hard because I like nice things. I want a private jet. I want houses all over the world. But for a time period, I just want simple. And I'm just going to enjoy, this is where men specifically have a hard time. When you're alone, can you sit in the pain? Can you sit in the quietness?
Yep.
Can you internalize?
Yeah.
Or do you cover it up with alcohol, drugs, and women.
Yeah. What do they say? All of man's troubles come from his inability to sit quietly alone in a room.
Yeah.
And that, I think, has so much truth to it, especially when we feel emotion, oftentimes, especially alone. It's very hard to acknowledge that it's even happening. So what do? We find our phone. We find porn. We find distraction. We go into business. And I love what you said about being stuck in success in business. That really speaks to me. I think that that's not something I've ever heard someone say before. Anyone. And that's very true. I think oftentimes, because people think the biggest fear among men when we go into business is that we won't be successful. But then sometimes you find success, and now as a result of that success, now I have different problems.
And
now
you use it as a crutch for everything else that's going wrong.
Exactly.
So if your wife wants you to watch the kids, you say, hey, honey, I'm too busy with my business. I'm too busy putting time into this. And look, I'm also successful, so you deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And think about this, the success trap. You sacrifice everything to become successful, right? Because it's really hard to move up the food chain.
Right.
You sacrifice everything. And on that journey, let's say we see things that we don't like. Shutting down businesses, COVID, politics, whatever. And we're screaming from the rooftops, this is insanity. You shouldn't be forcing people to take a jab when it should be their choice. And
right.
Whatever we're all screaming, right?
Yep.
And we'll scream it until it impacts our money.
Yep.
And I've seen the best of us fall. We know it's wrong. We stand up on our platform and we scream, and then they shut down our accounts. And it impacts our money, and you shut the fuck up. And you start playing ball.
Yeah.
Everybody's all about it until their livelihood is destroyed.
And I think part of that is really, I mean, that's understandable. I don't like the idea of censorship in any capacity.
Ready for this, though? Ready? I'm going to full circle this. This is me closing the loop.
Hit me.
Okay. You know why I can't be? I'm not Kanye.
Yeah.
I can't be canceled because you can take I'll actually throw a fucking party when you take my social away from me. It's gonna be a great day for me because I can't stand fucking social media. I use it to impact and to generate leads. That's it.
Sure.
I own so much cash flowing real estate. I own the deed. I have great financial partners, great loans on these, lots of free and clear real estate, lots of cash flow, lots of thriving businesses in multiple different industries. I run 7 companies at scale. I built a financial wall around me and my family to protect me from this fucking chaos that's going on in the world. I don't care what some dumbass politician does. I don't care about gas prices because I spent the last 20 years building the wall.
Yeah.
And that is freedom. And that's why I started Clever Investor, because I'm like, guys, wake the fuck up. Unplug from the matrix. Stop worrying about what you can't control. Let's go to work. Let's be in the right money-making vehicle. Let's become real leaders, right? Health. Let's be the guy at the pool that can't wait to rip our shirt off. Let's walk into a room and set a fucking standard for everybody watching us. Let's be great dads. Let's be willing to cry and be emotional and go deep, right? And not just be tough all the fucking time. Let's dominate the money game. And let's have a powerful relationship with our creator.
Wow.
What else is there? I mean, now I'm living life to the fullest.
Yeah. That sounds like it's a well-rounded plan. It sounds like something that, I mean, everybody would be attracted to. I don't know anybody that would look through life and say, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm crushing every single one of those pillars. I don't need help in anything. All of us need help in one of those areas, for sure. Where would people get hooked up with you? If they wanted to come to one of your events, if they wanted to ask you a question
I mean,
personally?
look, the Clever Investor Show is my podcast. I'm on episode 19 or 20 as of this recording. So
sick,
I'm
awesome.
new. Yeah, I'm a new podcaster. I really love it, by the way.
Do you like it?
I really love it, man. I love my guests. I love going deep like this and really getting to know people.
You've got a very natural flow for it as well.
Yeah.
So
I like talking about some of these important topics and unpacking very complicated things and then kind of simplifying them for people and making them feel like, oh, I can plug into that.
Yeah.
And so I'm having a blast with that. And we got some great guests. I've been lucky enough to interview some great people, Kiyosaki, real complicated people too, you know.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Dean Graziosi, lots of people you would never even hear of that are just murdering it in real estate that own 2,000 apartment doors, 900 million in apartments, $1 billion in real estate, and you're like, whoa, how did you do that? And they give you the step-by-step plays. So I'm loving that.
And is that the demographic you niche? Real estate is
it's look,
broad.
The concept of the show is the concept of life. I want to make money, a lot of it, very quickly. What skills do you need to make money? Sales skills, copywriting skills, brand building skills, right? Content creation skills. You need to know how to culture and build and influence people and build a team, right? So persuasion and influence, enrolling people into your vision, right? Getting out of the rat race by learning how to start a business, right? What's the entrepreneurship 101 shit?
Yeah.
Scaling, right? How do you really scale? Well, you scale through hiring better people and all of those things. So it's make money, multiply your money. How do you, with this earned income, which is the worst tax bracket income, the money game is designed to keep you trapped. I work an hour, I get paid a wage.
Yeah.
I get heavily taxed in inflation. At the end of the year, there's nothing left. The average American only makes what, 65K a year, 58K a year. I mean, like, you'd have to Google it, but it's not a lot.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
It's not a lot.
No.
And Americans are historically really bad savers. Canadians are better savers than us,
but we're material.
We live on credit.
Yep.
We overspend. We live above our means. We want to be the Instagram baller, and it's just,
I know somebody like that.
Just stupid, It's like if a young kid asked me, what's the very first thing I should do? I'd say, get 2 jobs, work your ass off, save every dollar you can, live below your means, and buy a duplex. Buy a fourplex, buy some form of real estate as fast as you can with the money that you've saved. Borrow the money from your parents, borrow it from your friends, pull it together, do whatever the fuck you got to do. But get into the own fourplex game. Move into one of them, house hack if you have to. Move into one of them, rent out the other 3, live for free, stack your fucking cash while you're young, and start increasing your skills. Study real estate, study how wholesaling works, how rehabbing works, study how creative finance works. Start paying attention to what successful people do. Cut a check to be in a room full of other successful people.
Yeah.
Join masterminds. Go to events.
Pay to play.
Don't be a little bitch about buying a course. Oh, information on YouTube is free. It's like, yeah, if you want to drink from a fire hose, good luck with that.
Yeah.
String all that information together into a system.
Especially if you can get in the room physically with some of those guys. You can't do that on YouTube. I mean, you get in a room with the clever investor, I can ask you anything I want.
It's a game changer.
Different, yeah.
It made the big masterminds move the needle for me more than anything else.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, people know me because I spend millions of dollars a year on Facebook and YouTube ads, right? I learned that from a guy, Kent Clothier. I'm sitting next to him at a mastermind. It's like me and you hanging out. I'm looking at him place an ad on his computer. This is 2014. Facebook ads were brand new.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm placing Facebook ads. And I'm like, how did you do that? He goes, let me screen record and I'll show you.
Yeah.
Within 1 year, I was spending $4 million a year getting a 10 times ROAS on my ad spend, scaling my business to $25 million a year from one 30-minute screen record that I met a guy at a $10,000 mastermind.
Do you learn from the guests that come on your podcast?
All the
are you
time.
still, and
All
that
the
is to me, whenever I get that question, people, what's the most rewarding thing about the podcast? I'm like, I get to learn. I get to have people come in here that have, it's why we kept the bandwidth broad. I didn't want fitness. I wanted, Become the 1% is really, that's a fire hose. I mean, that's everybody from any walk of life that we think is succeeding can come in here and talk to me. That's how I learn. I'm not really so much a good reader. I don't learn very well from notes on a page. I learn from people. I learn from this. And having a podcast, and you're gonna jump into it immediately. You'll have some of the most incredible people. The people that charge for the mastermind will fly to come and see you.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And, it's hard. Podcasting's a whole new world. There's a click. It's like starting over for me. I got to break my way into their good old boys club. I got to put in the work, put in the reps. I humble myself, Yeah. It's kind of weird. I got over 1 million people on my email database.
Yeah.
And
sure
got a big following and all this stuff. And even me, I know that I got to go 100 episodes before I see real crazy results.
Easy. What episode is this?
This weekend is going to be episode 47.
47. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I
got a long road to go.
What's even more amazing though, bro, is you're going to get, and it's already happening. I mean, you're doing podcasts, we are. This is exactly what I'm going to say. You're going to build up the network of other podcast hosts. And what we do, a lot of our guests, of course, come from Andy's efforts. A lot of our guests come from other.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Appreciate
you getting me on here, Andy.
Appreciate you. Other podcasters. Mark, you familiar with Mark Bell? You know his stuff. Fitness guy. He's
Mark Bell. Why
Mark
is that
Bell.
familiar?
Mark Smelly Bell. He's a huge. He is the fitness influencer. He's enormous. He's got a podcast called Power Project out in California. His producer we had on here, and I went on his platform. His very first podcast I ever did. Went out there. His guy came out here. We formed an incredible, intimate relationship. He sends us guests. We send each other, hey, man, I had this guy on. You would really enjoy the conversation. Hit him up. You'll get this network that we'll build. And now we've got 2 or 3 people doing that. You'll have that. And podcasters are actually, not all, because you'll find the dumbasses, of course, but most of them are good guys, good women, good people. And they will want to help you grow.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a cool little community inside of a community.
Yeah, I like it. I've been having a blast. And then, my YouTube channel at Clever Investor, we post the podcast, but I also post a lot of tactical real estate training on there.
Pull that up, Jake.
We're having fun on the YouTube channel. A lot of
whatever's cutting edge. 83,000 subscribers. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Well,
how old is your YouTube?
Oh, well, that's the challenge with YouTube. So I started in 2011, and then I didn't really use it that much. I was running ads from it and all that. And then I really started leaning in on it maybe like 2-3 years ago, but I already had about 25,000 followers that I have no idea where they came from.
Wow.
And the way the I didn't
do you monetize? You monetize off YouTube, yes?
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
I mean, do you make money off YouTube?
I make money from everything.
Got it. Yeah.
Literally all roads lead to money for me. I mean, because what happens is they watch a video and then a link in the description is for one of my courses, or a link in the description is to come to my office and hang out and at an event.
Directly from
You're talking
YouTube,
about
though.
ads.
No, I'm talking about YouTube. Eli, help me out here. YouTube monetization.
You're both saying the same thing. Yes, it's from the ads that you're splitting with YouTube.
Yeah, I make a couple $1,000, $4,000 a month.
Got it.
On ads from YouTube. But that's not why I use it. I don't really care about ad revenue. I care about it's just like podcasting. There's a specific audience that loves to learn through YouTube. And it's not like IG where they unfollow you really easily. Once they subscribe, they very rarely unsubscribe. Yeah. And so they go down this YouTube rabbit hole. You become an expert to them very, very quickly because they watch 25 hours of your video content, and next thing you know, you're the authority.
And any normal person will really only subscribe.
Here's the advice I'll give for anybody listening to me. If you have an old YouTube channel, and then all of a sudden you decide to lean in on YouTube and really become a content creator, kill the old channel. I looked at it like, I already have 25,000 followers. It'll be easier for me to get to 100,000 because at 100,000 you get the plaque. So I'm like, all right, let's go for the plaque, right? Let's go, baby. Let's get this plaque. The problem is the way the algorithm works is it reads your engagement in the first 1 minute. And it takes a small sample size of all your followers and it creates an equation of like what's the percentage of people engaging based on this sample size? Well, if they grab the dead followers and you have these new followers on there, it throttles your reach and doesn't push you out there because your ratios are wrong. So it's better to have less followers, but real followers that have the subscribe button, that have the notification bell, that are engaging with your content. I'd rather have 5,000 new subscribers than 25,000 old subscribers and 5,000 new subscribers. Yeah. I made the mistake, but now I'm committed. I'm now up to whatever 80-something thousand. Yeah. And it's like, I'm just going to bulldog my way through until those first 30,000 subscribers no longer matter.
Yeah, if you have 1 million, I mean, 30,000 won't matter.
Yeah. But I've seen people with much smaller pages get much more organic reach and pushed out by YouTube, and I was like, damn, what the hell?
And it's the same on Instagram, on Facebook. They don't want you paying for fake followers. They don't want you buying interactions. They want it to be organic. They want you to, like, hey, if you have a 15,000 follower page that you get 4 to 5% interactions on, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
If someone, it's also really, really difficult and almost disheartening when we meet these people who will have a page. They're like, I got 1 million followers. And then we do a post. And oftentimes, especially if we do like a collaboration, and it turns out, oh no, like we got no new followers. There was no comments. There's no, oh man, he's got a fake page. That sucks.
That's the world we live in, man. People are more worried about their looks than the actual results. You know, and this is why, because I was talking about how many fake bots are now on IG.
A lot of them.
So think of this. I'm the founder of IG. I can literally click one button and every fake bot will be deleted in a second. what would that do optically for my platform?
Certainly seem like there's far less people on it.
My valuation just plummeted. My stock value, my new investment value, it literally, I could clean it up in a click of a mouse, and they'll never do it.
No.
Because it's better to have a gazillion fake bots and growth optically and engagement. Because like, take a platform. This is how brilliant the creator of IG is, of YouTube is. Hey, we're going to build a business where our content creators work for free. And they're going to all we're going to do is build a platform, and they're going to do all the actual work. All we're going to do is sit back and sell ads to all these morons that are creating content for free. Because we're going to tap into the one thing, the most potent thing in mankind.
Attention?
No, it's one of the 7 deadly sins.
Ooh, tell me.
What do you think it is?
I think it's attention.
Attention's not one of the 7 deadly.
No, but I was saying, if you'd asked me the question before, you told me it was one of the 7 deadly sins.
Honestly, I forgot what they are, but I feel like it's not envy.
It's definitely not murder.
Vanity.
We all care more about what we look like and how cool we are and the engagement than anything else. And so it's like we're hooked. And all these fake bots, they're not going anywhere. They're going to ramp up. And unfortunately, it's just the way it is now moving forward. And so the point of all that is it doesn't matter, because we're not talking to the masses. We're talking to those 5 to 10 men that hear this message out of all your listeners that are right there on the edge about to do something fucking dumb. And I'm praying that they pump the brakes long enough to go get some help and to give themselves permission.
Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you so much for coming on, bro. Seriously.
Yeah.
This was an amazing conversation. This was outstanding. Again, one last time, if people want to find you, they go to The Clever Investor on Instagram, on YouTube.
At Clever Investor on all platforms, The Clever Investor Show. If you want to get into real estate, you can download a free book, fliphousesbook.com. That's just a free resource. I'm just going to give you a heads up. I am going to email the shit out of you. I will plant a tent in your mind. I will sell you shit. You will end up at my events. I throw the coolest events.
He does.
And I make a lot of money from email, so I'm gonna email you, dude. I sent 54 million emails last year. Have a 48% open rate and made $10.8 million. So thank you for joining my email list.
Wow, that's awesome.
On the other end of that, though, I will change your life. You will be around a whole bunch of cool people that are gunning.
Yep. You
will learn a tremendous amount of skills about investing and get plugged into a cool community.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yep. All right. We'll cut it there.